Let's take a look at project base points and survey base points in Revit. I'm bringing in topographical and mapping information. I have my Revit plan in here and I have a model of the site with some basic topographical information. But I want to make this a bit more detailed and actually bring in a background plan of the site and some XML Civil 3D data. You can see in here in Civil 3D I have my actual site plan. Again, this is in meters, and my Revit model is working in millimeters. So the very first thing we want to do is look at the survey point and the project base point. You can see the icons in here. You can turn them on in the visibility graphics setting, and I'm just going to simply unpin and drag this one out, and I'm going to unpin the survey point. The triangle is the survey point. What this actually represents is a point in the real world, or information that might come from a data logger or represent a survey point on the actual model. The project base point, for want of better words, it's the origin. It's the 0, 0, 0, essentially of where a point on the origin on the model actually is. And you'd normally hook that into an element. So I'm just going to simply drag this base point to a corner of the building and pin it. Next, I'm going to drag my survey point to where I know there is a fixed position. So I'm going to drag this up to a known fixed position. But I'm not going to lock it at this stage because I want to specify the coordinates at this point. So in the Civil 3D model, you can see that I can get an ID or coordinates in the real world, so I can go into my coordinates and actually specify a point and get some coordinate information in there. Once I have that information and once I know the orientation of the site, the true north, I go back into my Revit model and I specify the coordinates at the point. So we go into Manage, we go into our coordinates and specify coordinates at point. And it's very important to make sure the survey point is unpinned at this stage. Click on the point, and what we're going to do is enter the easting and northing. You have to bear in mind that these values are actually in millimeters, whereas your survey information in Civil 3D will be in meters. I'm going to leave elevation for the sake of this exercise. Very important just to check your values in there, and once you're ready, just hit OK. So now that survey pin, you can actually pin that and lock it in position. So we have a fixed coordinate for our survey position. Next, what we want to do is orientate our building to true north. So we do this under our coordinates, our position, rotate to true north. You can't just rotate it unless you actually specify the point where you want to rotate from, which is that survey point. Make sure you're exactly on the marker, click your position for the horizontal, and then drag the angle around. I know the value here is 3.1774, and I simply hit enter. The reason this is updated in the actual view is the properties of the view are actually aligned to true north. But realistically, we like to draw north facing up, so this is why we should probably take a copy of the view to start with. So you see, if I go back into my original site, I'm just working north up, but if I go into my site view true north, I can get the true orientation of the site. What this allows us to do now is we can insert a CAD drawing or reference in or link in a CAD drawing using the shared coordinates, and it will come into position, even though this CAD drawing is in meters. Go to your insert, go to link CAD, pick your map plan, and make sure that your positioning is by shared coordinates. Even though this drawing is in meters, what will happen as soon as I hit open, it will come into the correct position. It has given me a warning saying that the project and link do not share the same coordinates, so the link's world coordinates will be aligned to the project shared coordinates. That's exactly what I want to happen. As soon as I hit OK, you can see my site is perfectly aligned in the same position as my Civil 3D model. If we go back into our site true north, again we can see that orientated to true north. The great thing about Revit 2015 and 2016 is that we have site designer information. So we can add in XML information that's come directly from Civil 3D. So I can import a land XML file. We can pick our file up, hit OK, make a new surface from it, make it existing, just give me a warning about no alignments, and it will actually bring in that topographical surface. So that's a feature you can do through your extensions on 2015 and 2016. Thanks for listening. If you have any queries or would like further sharing information, please contact us on info@pentagonsolutions.com.